Have you ever felt a peace that didn't match the moment? As if the world around you are collapsing, but inside you existed serene silence? Perhaps, without realizing it, you have been touched by something sacred. The angels speak like this not with noise, but with signs. And today, you will learn to recognize them. They do not appear with trumpets or bright wings. Prefer the subtle. A shiver, a coincidence, a dream. When you learn to listen, life changes. The paths get lighter, the heart firmer, and fear begins to make room for faith, the one he feels, even without seeing. In this content, you will discover the 10 most common signs that angels are trying to talk to you, and maybe realize that many of them have happened, they were just waiting for their attention. From now on, you will look at the invisible with more sensitive eyes. You will feel when the sky calls you. Take a deep breath. Leave the heart quiet. Forget what is out there for a few minutes. Allow yourself to dive into this journey with open soul. Because, believe me, it is no coincidence that you are listening to it now. And if this theme has already touched you, subscribe to the channel right now. Here is where faith and sensitivity meet. There are times when everything is wrong. Problems, pressures, pain that seems endless. And yet, something inside you don't collapse. On the contrary, you breathe, close your eyes, and feel an inexplicable calm. It's as if time stopped for a few seconds and someone whisper, "You'll be fine." This peace does not come from logic. It is not the result of positive thinking or rational strategies. It is a spiritual gift, an invisible presence that surrounds you, sustains you inside. And even without seeing, you feel that you are not alone. It's like a silent hug from something bigger than you. This feeling may arise after a prayer, but it also appears when you didn't even have time to ask for help. The angels realize before. They feel their affliction in silence and act precisely. They do not burst, but put an invisible shield between you and the collapse. And suddenly you breathe differently. It does not mean that the problems are gone. The pain is still there, but now it seems bearable. The heart finds a support point, and it is in this support that the force is reborn. You don't know where you came from, but it's there. Present, solid, almost like a spiritual anchor. It's the sky reminding you that you didn't give up on you. This peace is a sign. It is a language from above. It does not impose itself, requires no explanation. It simply appears and you recognize, even without understanding. Sometimes it comes with a light cry, sometimes with a sudden relief. But it always comes with the internal certainty that something has changed, even if nothing has changed on the outside. When this happens, thank you, even without knowing why. Because this gratitude creates an even more open channel with the spiritual plane. Angels approach more easily where there is welcome, and the peace you felt can become frequent. Not because problems will disappear, but because you will be more aligned with those who support you. This calm in the midst of chaos is one of the most powerful signs that angels can give you, because it changes everything inside. And when the world around has no longer power over you, it is a sign that something divine is acting. Continue attentive, because where there is inexplicable peace, there is an invisible presence. Do you know those moments when everything seems to be unlikely to align? You think of someone and that person sends you a message. A sentence repeatedly appears in different places. A song plays with the exact lyrics of what you needed to hear. At first glance, it seems only coincidence. But for those who are aware, it is more than that. Angels use everyday life to communicate. They don't have to interrupt their routine with large signs, they prefer the details. A repeated number. An unexpected encounter. a book that opens fair on the right page. They show you that they are present without drawing much attention. But you feel, and you know, it is as if the universe began to conspire in a very accurate way. Small chances begin to form a map. And even without understanding everything, something inside you awakens. The feeling is to be conducted, guided with lightness by invisible hands, as if the angels were drawing the way in silence. These signs usually appear more when you are in doubt, tired, or confused. They come as reminders that you are not alone. And the more you pay attention, the more they repeat themselves. It is as if the sky said, "Yes, it is right here. You just need to observe with the look of the soul." Many people ignore these moments. They call luck, chance, silly coincidence. But the sensitive ones perceive the call from behind. They feel it is not random, because there is nothing so specific to happen so many times by chance. It is the invisible becoming visible in simple but accurate shapes. When you notice a sign like that, stop for a moment. Feel, breathe, reflect. What is this wanting to tell you? What were you thinking before this happens? This kind of attention tunes your connection with angels and makes your walk clearer. It's like walking with an invisible map in your hands. The angels are not distant. They only use different languages. And when they choose to speak through coincidences, they do this with surgical accuracy. So the next time something unlikely happens several times in a row, don't ignore. Maybe the sky is screaming, but with a whisper. There are times when, even without anyone around, you hear something inside you. It is not a common thought, nor a loose idea. It is a clear, firm phrase that arises out of nowhere. Go calmly. Don't get in there. Call him. It's discreet, but so accurate that you almost turn your face to see who said. But there is no one. Only you and something else. This voice does not come from anxiety or fear. It comes soft, but hard. Don't scare you, but guides you. And deep down, it brings a sense of peace. Even if you say something unexpected, it seems to protect you, as if someone were inside you, whispering advice with ancient wisdom. And you feel you should listen. Angels speak like this too, by the heart. When they need to guide you quickly, without external signs, they use their own sensitivity as a channel. And if you have an open heart, you can easily distinguish what is the noise of mind and what is a spiritual message. The difference is clear. One disturbs, the other soothes. Sometimes this voice appears in critical situations, difficult decisions, moments of danger, emotional dilemmas. Other times it comes in simple tasks, washing dishes, walking, looking at the sky. No matter the moment, what matters is the clarity with which the message comes, and how it changes everything with a few words. The secret is to listen carefully. Trust without demanding immediate proof. Because many times, only then do you realize that you have been saved, conducted, prevented. This internal orientation, when coming from above, is light and accurate. It does not create confusion. No strength. It just shows a way and makes you free to follow. Over time, you begin to recognize the tone of this voice. Learn to differentiate true intuition from hasty thoughts. The inner voice of angels is constant but not invasive. It is always there, waiting for a space. And when you start listening with respect, it strengthens yourself and starts to guide more often. So the next time something inside you speaks softly, stop. Breathe. Listen. It can be more than your mind. It may be heaven. It can be an angel giving you the right direction, right in the middle of your own silence. And when that happens, don't doubt it. Obey. Because those who hear the invisible is with the impossible. You are alone, without wind, no noise, and suddenly feel a shiver. Or a soft heat that surrounds you, like an invisible hug. Sometimes it's a light touch on the shoulder, a pressure on the chest, but it's not fear. It is presence. Something or someone who does not see himself, but manifests himself in his body in a subtle and deep way. These sensations are not random. When angels want to make themselves noted speechless, they use what you have the most sensitive, the body. A silent but full of response channel. The spirit touches matter. And you, even without understanding, feel that there is something more there. Something good, protective, welcoming. Often these manifestations come when you are silent. It can be during a prayer, a moment of sadness, or even a simple distraction of the day. And suddenly that feeling, a shiver on the arm, a warmth, a breeze that enters a closed environment. The message does not come in voice, but in presence. The body reacts because the soul recognizes. Even if the mind does not understand, the spirit captures. And this physical answer is one of the most direct ways to know that angels are close. They do not need to appear to be real. Just a soft touch of the invisible and the body responds. Calmly, with tremor, with peace. Important: do not confuse with fear or anxiety. The angelic touch does not disturb, it calms down. Even if it causes surprise, it is always accompanied by a good feeling, as if everything around it was lighter for a few seconds. And when it passes, you feel that something important has just happened, even without explanation. The more open you are, the easier it will be to realize. Angels respect their freedom. Do not force the entrance. But when they feel space, they approach. And this physical touch becomes almost a personal signal, a code between you and the sky. An intimate way to say, "We're here, very close, very real." The next time you feel something like that, close your eyes. He used to smile. And mentally say, "I get." This simple permission strengthens the link with the invisible. Because when you recognize the touch of an angel, it comes back. More often, more intensely. And your body becomes a bridge to the divine. Some dreams don't just look like dreams. You wake up with a deep peace, as if I had talked to someone special. Sometimes you don't even remember the details, but it carries a clear feeling something good visited you while sleeping. It may have been an angel. They use the dream world to say what the agreed mind still does not hear. During sleep, the mind's defenses lower. The heart opens, and the spirit is released. It is in this space of inner silence that the sky finds passage. Angels know that there is more listening than the day full of distractions. Therefore, many visits happen at night. And the signal is in the awakening lightness, heat in the chest, emotion for no reason. In some cases you see faces, lights, figures of peace. In others, there is no form, just sensation. A hug without arms, a voice without sound. But the message comes: you are not alone. Something guided you, welcomed you, strengthened you. And that remains in you throughout the day, as if the soul had been touched during rest. There are those who dream of clear phrases. Other people see landscapes, symbols, wings. Some hear names, requests, or just feel they were healed of something. No matter the format, the impact matters. The heart recognizes when it was visited, and the gratitude that arises is a sign that the spirit understood the message. These dreams usually come in moments of anguish, change, or search for answers. Sometimes they are an answer to a prayer made days ago. Others are unexpected blessings, silent gifts from heaven. When you wake up with that certainty that something has changed, believe me, it really changed. And it was in the invisible. If this happens to you, write what to remember, even if it seems vague. Angels like to register impressions, because they come back later as pieces of a puzzle. And when everything fits, you realize that message came before, in the dream. And he has prepared you silently to something bigger. Sleeping is not just resting. It is also opening portals. And when you sleep with the heart available, the angels find the way. So, before closing your eyes, say, "If you want to talk to me, I'm here." Simple as that. Because heaven does not need noisy permission, just a soul that knows how to hear even sleeping. There are times when something inside you says, "Don't go." And even without logical reason, you feel you should stop. Other moments, it's a sudden boost of changing the route, avoiding a place, of calling someone. These intuitions are more than guesses, they are spiritual alerts. It is the sky trying to protect you even before you ask. Angels see what our eyes do not see. They realize dangers, wrong choices, emotional traps. And when they need to act, they release quick, accurate signals. Not always with words, sometimes it's a strange malaise, a cold in the belly, a nuisance that keeps you from following. Pay attention. These warnings come with a clear feeling something is not right. And even if others say the opposite, your heart insists. The mind even tries to ignore, but the body reacts. Angels act like this when they know the route can hurt. They don't want to control you, they want to protect. And they do it with firm love. The great key here is obey. Even without understanding. Even if it seems exaggeration. Many people tell stories of deliverances that started with a simple "something told me not to go." This is real. And the more you respect these subtle touches, the more protected you live. Because its sensitivity becomes a direct channel with the top. But do not confuse spiritual alert with irrational fear. The sign of the angels does not paralyze, he redirects. Don't hold you, save you. And soon after comes peace, relief, "I'm glad I heard." This is the confirmation that it was heaven. When there is peace after choice, it can trust intuition was divine. These warnings can also come as sudden ideas. A name that comes up in your mind, a place you decide not to enter, a message you feel you need to send. Do not doubt. Write down, act, respect. Angels use intuition as a megaphone of the soul. And when you respond, the connection is strengthened. So the next time something inside you screams softly, stop. Silence. And listen with respect. It can be an angel pulling you by the hand, changing your route, moving you away from what is not for you. And when you pass, thank you. Because the sky often acts behind the scenes and you only realize it after it was saved. You are alone at home or walking on the street, and suddenly you feel that someone there is there. You see nothing, don't hear anything, but the presence is real, reassuring, an energy that fills the air and changes the environment. Don't scare comfort. It is one of the most beautiful signs that an angel follows you closely. This feeling comes at the simplest moments while dishwasher directs, looks at nothing, and out of nowhere, everything gets lighter. You feel as if you are being observed with love, carefully, as if someone invisible was keeping you company. It is not a suggestion of the mind, it is spiritual presence. Often this presence appears when you are sad, confusing, or lonely. It is as if the sky said, "I saw you." And instead of words, it gives you company. It changes everything. Because you realize that even in silence, even without answers, you have not been forgotten. And that heals. Angels like environments where there is sincerity. They approach when you lower emotional guard. And when they feel that the heart is accessible, they come smoothly. Their spirit does not invade, involves. This is why you feel hot, relief, and even want to cry, even for no reason. This type of company does not need physical way. The spirit feels what the eyes do not see. And when this presence sets in, fear loses strength. The environment changes. Your energy changes. And loneliness, as heavy as he was, turns into a hug without arms. This is an angel welcoming you. If you have already felt it, remember you didn't imagine. And if you never felt, prepare the space inside you. Talk to the invisible, even without immediate response. Say, "You can stay here with me, I leave it." Angels listen to these permissions of the heart. And when welcome, they make themselves feel even more clear. Does not underestimate the power of a silent presence. Because sometimes the biggest miracle is to feel that someone is with you without being visible. When the world weighs, and yet you feel peace, know it's not alone. It can be an angel walking beside him. And that is enough to follow. From time to time, someone appears out of nowhere and says exactly what you needed to hear. A simple conversation, a loose comment, an unexpected advice. It just seems coincidence, but it is not. Angels use people as instruments. When you need direction, they put someone on your way. Sometimes it's a stranger who smiles at the right time. A friend who calls you without knowing why. A video that comes with cure words. This is more than chance, it is an answer. When you are open, the sky moves and sends messages in the form of gestures, voices, people. The most beautiful is that, often, those who deliver the message do not even notice. It's just acting normally. But from behind, there is something bigger guiding everything. What seems random, in fact, is spiritual accuracy. A script written carefully by those who know you deeply. You can also be this channel. Have you ever felt sudden to send a message? To help someone without explanation? It can be an angel using your voice, your hands, your gesture. When this happens, do not hesitate. Act with love. Because at that moment the sky is passing through you. Recognizing these moments is essential. They create a link between the visible and the invisible. They make you understand that you are being careful even when you do not realize. That is being conducted even without knowing where. And that brings relief, faith, and courage. Do not expect cinematic miracles. The angels prefer the simple. The presence at the exact moment. The phrase that brightens. The gesture that calms. And the more you value these manifestations, the more they multiply. Because where there is gratitude, there is repetition of blessings. So be aware. The next person who crosses his way can be an answer of an ancient prayer. Or maybe you are someone's answer. When heaven wants to act, he uses what he has: time, meetings, and hearts available. Be one of them. Sometimes it's a white feather on the floor. A butterfly that lands on your arm. A wind that enters the closed window. They are not just elements of nature, they are signs. Angels communicate through the physical world, using the simple to play the invisible. And who is aware, understands the message without it having to be explained. Nature is one of the favorite channels of spirituality. She is pure, silent, and sensitive, just like angels. When you are in contact with trees, animals, water, or sky, your spiritual field opens. And the messages come more easily. Not in words, but in sensations, synchronicities, beauty. A smell of flowers where there are no flowers. A soft light in the room, without nothing changing. The sudden silence in a noisy environment. These details are touches from above. They change the atmosphere around them. And more than anything, they change what you feel inside: safety, comfort, presence. Angels use these signs as reminders that you are careful, observed, protected. They don't expect you to understand everything, just want you to realize. May you take a deep breath over the unlikely and say, "I see you." Because this recognition opens even deeper spiritual doors. It is also possible to feel discomfort in certain places. A weight, a tension, a desire to leave. This is also a sign. Angels warn of environments that drain their energy. And when that happens, respect. Your sensitivity is your shield. Their intuition is the radar they use to move you away from what is not good. You don't have to see an angel to know he's there. Just look at how the environment changes with his presence. The air gets lighter. Time seems to stop. The body relaxes. It's almost like the world stopped to give you an invisible hug. And this hug smells of sky. The next time nature seems to answer, you stop. Note, feel. It can be more than a beautiful landscape. It can be a message full of love. Angels talk to those who have eyes to see what is not obvious. And when you see the soul, the whole world becomes a message. Suddenly you feel like gratefulness. No apparent reason. The chest squeezes in a good way, the eyes fill the water. And all you can say is, "Thank you." This is a sign. One of the purest. One of the real. It is the soul recognizing that it was touched by something larger without having to understand. The gratitude that is born out of nowhere, in fact, does not come out of nowhere. It comes from an invisible visit. From a cure you did not realize, from a deliverance that passed without fuss. Angels often act behind the scenes. And when the action ends, the heart feels. Even without knowing why, he leans and thanks. This feeling is like an internal hug. It fills you, silences you, makes you smile lightly. It is not an euphoria. It is peace. It is the soul saying, "Something happened." And even if you have not seen, you have been reached. This silent gratitude is the signing of angels at the end of a visit. It can also emerge after a dream, a physical touch, a followed intuition. It can come after a cry or a moment of loneliness that suddenly became comfort. And that's where you understand it wasn't alone. Someone came. Someone stayed. Someone lifted you without raising your voice. Many people ignore this moment. They run, distracted, seeking explanation. But who feels? Who feels recognizes. And who recognizes receives more. Because heaven manifests itself where there is welcome. Gratitude is the universal language that brings the divine closer to the human. So don't hold this feeling. When he comes, let it out. Say thank you, even if you do not know who. Because deep down the soul knows. She knows when she was touched. You know when an angel passed. And what you feel now is just the natural answer of who, even without seeing, was blessed. This is the final sign. Not the smallest, perhaps the most powerful. Because that's when you don't need evidence anymore. Just feels. And that is enough. When thanksgiving springs effortlessly, the invisible was recognized. And in this vibration, angels keep coming back. Perhaps, while listening to these signs, you remembered times when something similar happened to you. Perhaps it has felt shiver, emotion, or just deep silence. This is already a sign. Because when we speak of what is spiritual, the Spirit responds. And now you know angels speak. And you can hear. They do not need great manifestations. They speak in detail, in the whisper, at the right time. Their mission is not to impress, is to protect, guide, comfort. And if you have gotten here, it is because your heart is already more sensitive. It is already ready to realize. And from today, everything can change. Pay more attention to what you feel. In what happens without reason. in the signs that surround you. Nothing is by chance when the sky decides to approach. And believe me, he's closer than you think, just waiting for you to look with the right eyes, those of the soul, those of the heart. If it touched you, if something woke up inside you not just for you, subscribe now to the channel, enable notifications, and share this light with those who need it. Here, you will find many more messages like this made to play where the world does not reach. Remember, angels speak. They talk to those who listen. They talk to those who feel. They speak to who allows. And when they realize they are welcome, they stay and take care and transform everything, even what seemed impossible. You are not alone. Never been. And now, more than ever, you know how to recognize when heaven calls you.